SMT Nation, we back. Nation, good question that I've gotten before in other videos and in commentary from my podcast is with all the talk about AST Space Mobile and AT&T with their partnership, and then, T-Mobile with SpaceX and Starlink, where's Verizon's solution? Where is Verizon going to step in and do the whole satellite to cell phone, right? The satellite to smartphone connection. What are they doing? Well, we got our answer here today, and it's more of the same. Let's discuss it in today's video. The inspiration for today's commentary video, Monica Alvin, Fierce Wireless. The link will be in the description. Ways to support the SMT you can find down there as well. Like and share this video, and please do comment on any of the commentary in the video and engage with the content. All right, so T-Mobile's got SpaceX, and AT&T has AST. Verizon has a partnership with Amazon, with Kuiper, but it has nothing to really do with smartphones. So what exactly is Verizon's answer to space-based connectivity? Well, they've made it very clear. At Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, Verizon reiterated their position on this whole satellite to smartphone thing. They're not interested. They don't want to do it. They're not motivated. They're not driven. And they don't really see it as important to what they're doing. All right, now, it's kind of a little bit misleading. Maybe I generalized a little bit too much. But here's some commentary from Joe Russo, their network president. He said, quote, "Certainly we care and we pay attention to it. We like that Apple has already enabled it." And it's true, both the newest two generations of iPhones have it. The iPhone 15 generation, the most recent one, and then going back one more year, the iPhone 14 has SOS-based services. So you can make an emergency call through that dedicated service on iOS. Now, obviously, that leaves Android users without that option. And we know that what T-Mobile is doing requires T-Mobile to allow, spectrum that would normally be on their terrestrial network. They actually have to move it and allocate it to the space-based broadcasting. So there's PCS spectrum, which T-Mobile took away from its terrestrial network, and they had to put it to space. And that's where Verizon feels disconnected from this. They don't like the concept of taking their spectrum away from the terrestrial network and putting it for this very fringe, this very, how often would people connect to it? That's really what Verizon is looking at this. They're looking at the cost to do this and the number of folks who would actually ever be in a situation to use it, and it just doesn't make business sense for them. So the D2D or direct-to-device space race that's going on, Verizon's not really engaging. They see some potential areas where it might be useful, right, in those areas that don't have terrestrial cell coverage, but the situations are so few and far in between, and the number of customers who would have to rely on that service at those moments would be so infinitesimal, they're just not really looking to invest in it. So they're good with the iOS Apple situation with SOS, and they're just looking at it like that. They're not going to be dedicating capex to it. Now, it's also got to think about this realistically. Verizon has arguably the largest network in the country. Why is T-Mobile so gung-ho about pushing space connectivity? Well, they have the smallest network in the country. Where Verizon covers over 50% of the geographical U.S. with network, T-Mobile's like 35%, right? And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. There's a piece of me that believes that there are parts of this country where Verizon and AT&T both have coverage, and they will be the only ones with coverage there for a long time. There may never come a day where T-Mobile even builds tower sites there because of the cost and return of investment. Why do you think T-Mobile is building to this whole space thing? They know that they probably will never put towers there. They've run the cost analysis. It doesn't make sense to build towers. So they're going to, quote unquote, cover their customers with a satellite signal to give them some calling and texting and possibly some data. Verizon wants no parts of that. We know how AT&T rolls. Very sensitive to cost in today's version of AT&T. Definitely behind the eight ball on the mid-band 5G build. They've got a vested interest in covering customers in remote areas without tower sites too. Verizon, to me, is the least likely to need satellite connectivity. I mean, they're still building towers out in rural America. They're still densifying. It's not at a fast pace or anything, but we do see the networks getting bigger from them. You know, AT&T's got the FirstNet contract, so that keeps them in play, but that's kind of why T-Mobile's so aggressive with this. They know, and you should know too, they're never going to have a network as big as Verizon or AT&T. They're just in two different places. I think that's what this is really all about. What do you guys think? Sound off in the comment section below. You all the voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard.